On today's show, we feature recognition of Plymouth citizen responder Kyler Blair. Hear original poetry, get a short Just the Facts update on Duxbury town government, and shine a light on local producer show Business Bests by Mike Burns.
And if you're looking to learn or just have some fun, we'll also be talking about classes, programs, and upcoming things to do in Plymouth, Pembroke, Kingston, and Duxbury.
We're glad you're here. Let's get started. Quick-thinking Kyler Blair was hailed as a hero by Fire Chief Neil Foley after his sense of responsibility averted a potential tragedy. We went on the local scene to the Plymouth Fire Station.
Well, I think we'll first start off by talking about what happened, what brought us here today. So on August 31st, the Plymouth Fire Department received a 911 call reporting a fire at Colonial Terrace. The crews responded rapidly from this station and a few others, and when they got on scene, they found a fire on the second floor of 79 Colonial Terrace. The fire had extended into the walls and was quickly going up the walls and potentially getting into the attic space. So time was of the essence, of course. The crews did an excellent job. They ended up finding one of the residents inside the apartment, were able to get that resident outside the apartment, and to medical treatment, where he was eventually transported to the hospital and is doing well. But the actions of one particular individual made all the difference in the world. I'd like to introduce to you Kyler Blair. And Kyler was instrumental in our ability to stop that fire by reporting to his parents that there was a fire in the building next door. So with him notifying us through the 911 system through his parents, we were able to make that rapid response, quickly put the fire out, and get that person to safety. So because of that, we'd like to recognize Kyler with this Citizen Responder Award. Town of Plymouth, Massachusetts Fire Department Citizen Responder Award, presented to Kyler Blair, in recognition of your actions on the afternoon of August 31st, 2025, for alerting your parents of a fire at a neighbor's home at 79 Colonial Terrace that resulted in a call to 911 notifying the fire department. Your actions were instrumental in the safety of the occupant and the successful extinguishment of the fires. The Plymouth Fire Department is grateful for your service to your community. Thank you, Kyler. Yeah, buddy.
Good job, buddy.
And I'm also going to present Kyler with one of the Fire Department Challenge coins, which we pass out in recognition of a job well done. Here you go, Kyler. All right, pretty good? What do you think, Kyler? Good job.
Nice job, bud.
The sky's a blackboard high above you.
Suede has opened for Melissa Etheridge, Joan Rivers, and Sarah McLachlan, and headlined legendary rooms from Feinstein's in San Francisco to Birdland in New York City. The legendary B. Arthur once shouted out in the middle of a Suede show, "You are to die for. Thank you for the best night of my life in an audience." All to say that you won't want to miss the chance to see pop, jazz, blues vocalist and multi-instrumentalist Suede at the Spire Center on Sunday, November 2nd at 3 p.m. Her New England trio, pianist Freddie Boyle, bassist Rich Hill, and Steve Langoni on drums, will join Suede for the standout Sunday Serenade Series performance. Visit the Spire Center website to get your tickets. Doors open at 2 p.m.
The tradition of throwing a Halloween party stems in large part from the early 20th century out of a desire to replace earlier traditions of mischief, mayhem, and vandalism with something more wholesome, neighborly, and community-focused. In that tradition, the spirits of community will be haunting the halls during the Pembroke Senior Services Halloween Party on Wednesday, October 29th. Sponsored by the Friends of the COA, this spooky spectacular starts at noon. There will be a live DJ spinning tunes, delicious pizza, and fantastic prizes for the best costumes. So come dressed to impress. If you would like to ghost to this fantastic party, register to reserve a spot by calling 781-294-8220.
On Wednesday, November 5th, the Duxbury Free Library is hosting a virtual event with author and journalist Joseph Lee, who will be talking about his memoir, Nothing More of This Land: Community, Power, and the Search for Indigenous Identity. Through reflections on his experiences growing up a Quinna-Wampanoag in Martha's Vineyard, a place known worldwide as a luxury vacation spot, but that is culturally significant as the home of the Wampanoag people, as well as interviews with Indigenous leaders, artists, and scholars, Lee explores what it means to be Indigenous in today's world. Based in New York, Lee is an Quinna-Wampanoag writer whose work has been published in The Guardian, BuzzFeed, Vox, and more. The virtual program begins at 2 p.m. Sign up via the library's website.
Here's Dave Antoine with a Just the Facts update on Duxbury government on the local scene.
After being away from the Mirror Room for much of the summer, the Duxbury Zoning Board of Appeals had plenty to discuss on the second Thursday of September. Comprehensive permits dominated the first half of the meeting as they began with the administrative agenda items first. These two matters of which the board believed should be handled administratively and not turned into a ZBA discussion, citing the need for residents to be able to move forward on their proposed projects without delay. The board felt that perhaps in the future they could dedicate a night to comprehensive permits and streamlining their management within the town. First up was a residence on Checkerberry Circle as new parents Michael and Mary Preet were requesting a building permit to construct a 15 by 15 sunroom, to be determined by the board if it's a substantial or insubstantial modification of a comprehensive permit. The board believed that there will be a way to define what's reasonable and can be handled administratively, feeling that they have the staff to create language and parameters to how it can be addressed. This Homeowners Association approved item was approved by the ZBA. The next item involved the application of putting up a shed, voted with a 5-0 vote under administrative approval and not as a major modification. Moving on to the items that did require a public hearing, with the first case on 66 Elder Brewster Road, a continuance of an applicant's proposal to construct a covered porch under a pre-existing non-conforming dwelling, which would require a special permit. This case brought in a smorgasbord of town input: the Board of Health involving an inspection of biomicrobics, the Conservation Commission with a notice of intent along with approval, and an order of conditions with no modifications, while the Design Review Board sending their okay. The Planning Board, having provided a memo on review of the project in a flood hazard area, had taken a roll call vote to defer judgment on a special permit application to the ZBA, but the caveat being the availability of a full zoning board, as only 4 members were present, in this case required a supermajority vote. The board gave the presenter an option of a straw poll, where they would at least hear the presenter on the topic and then take it up in a next meeting with the information they have in tow. The presenter provided a copy that would put a 13 by 14 screen porch over an existing deck, but the special permit request is because the site is at 22% existing building coverage, and this project would bring it to 23%. The project includes the creation of a pool, redoing a back patio, and adding pool utilities. The ZBA took a more in-depth look at the plan, with discussion leading to their main concern about the project's overhang, one that they imposed did not have more than 12 inches to it. Upon the straw poll, the board was good at the project and voted with the supermajority. They then continued a subsequent case that involved the raising of an existing commercial building and in its place a commercial mixed-use building on the site, one case that ought to be continued at a future meeting. As they neared the end, the ZBA discussed the status of a variety of projects involving comprehensive permit, construction, and more around town. This has been your Duxbury Government Access on the local scene.
The Kingston Council on Aging invites you to gather your best game playing team and join them on Friday, October 24th, when Kevin Rickman will be hosting classic game shows. Come down and play the games that have kept us entertained for years, from shows like Concentration, Family Feud, and Wheel of Fortune. The fun kicks off at 12:30 p.m. and registration is required. The cafe will be open for game time munchies to keep your brain and body fueled for fun.
The Duxbury Parks and Rec Department has opened registration for their fall and winter parent and swim team prep fall session Saturday mornings at Percy Walker Pool. The fall session will run October 25th through November 15th, and winter will be December 6th through January 17th. No lessons on December 27th. Visit the Duxbury Recreation website to register.
The Duxbury Rec Department is hosting a Halloween Fun Fest on Friday, October 24th from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. in the Chandler Elementary School gym for all kids aged toddler through 2nd grade. This is a free event and no registration is required. Costumes, though, highly encouraged. There will be games, candy, and Halloween-themed fun. Contact Olivia Reed at oreed@duxbury-ma-gov for more details.
Next up is poet Elizabeth Hanson.
Next up, we have Elizabeth Hanson.
Hello. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you, Jennifer. It's a wonderful event. I have two poems. They're revised, both of them. I think I'm not going to do any kind of setup. I'm just going to read them through. There's a couple of musical references in one, but I think some of it kind of should be obvious, but I'm just going to go for the gold and read it. It's called Drop D. Playing out, oh, excuse me, 1 minute. I do fine for a minute and then, or for a while, and then my eyesight goes on me, so. All right, start again. Drop D. Playing out, cowbell and all. What's next? Throw that set list out. He nodded. Winds picking up as sun came randomly upon her eyes. Open air riff, then solo, steady beat, then keyboard, drums keeping company. Call and answer, persuade me, remind me why. Seduce me, lead guitar, all originals, singer-songwriter genre, perfect niche. Endlessly, in quotes, no woman, no cry. Repeat, where would we be without music? Without this sound, this anthem? Quote, no woman, no cry. Everything's going to be all right. That was written in 2020, and that's why the ending. So this one was written, I think, the parts of it came from 2017, and I was going through Facebook and it popped up on my memory section, and so I kind of revamped it. And anyway, so revisions. Oh, I'm sorry. Revelations. The inside of a flower opens for your nose. The smell lets you see the way color calls to us. Nature will not be denied. Someone once told you, but did you listen? You had thought, this is what I want, but it isn't now. You stand in my shoes. Robert Johnson could tell you a few things if you let him. Slow and easy finger-picking style. Remember the bass line. The grass is wet. Day is ready. You need to sit down. You tug on your dress, wrap it around your knees. Nothing can help you. You thought you had friends. You do. But they all have terms. Nothing is going to be the way you want, including love. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Autumn leaves are starting to show their colors, cueing holiday season just around the corner. Get some early shopping out of the way at the Hometown Handmade Fall Juried Craft Fair on Saturday, November 1st at Plymouth North High School. Over 100 booths featuring only handmade crafted goods will provide a large and lovely selection of unique, one-of-a-kind items perfect for those hard-to-shop-for folks in your life who don't need anything. You'll have plenty of time to browse. The craft fair will run from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Time-traveling food truck will be there, fun door prizes, a raffle, and so much more. Admission is free, but donations to benefit Student Council are gratefully accepted.
Kingston Parks and Recreation Department and the Kingston Public Library invite you and your kiddos to the Book and Treat on Friday, October 24th at the Reed Community Building in Kingston. There will be a spooky themed trail where trick-or-treaters will get to meet characters they know and love as they walk along discovering treats. There will also be creepy fun crafts, games, music, and more. The event is free, wonderful for all ages, and runs from 4 to 7 p.m. Advanced registration is required to help with parking and an enjoyable event for all. Register for one of 3 time slots by visiting kingstonma.myrec.com. The Reed Community Building is located at 33A Summer Street.
The 4th annual Silver Lake Fall Craft Fair will be proudly hosted by Silver Lake Regional High School's class of 2028 on November 15th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and will be a festive day of shopping, raffles, and tasty concessions. Discover local handmade goods and unique finds from a variety of talented vendors, and bring a non-perishable food item for entry into the fair. Silver Lake Regional High School is located at 260 Pembroke Street in Kingston.
The Kingston Council on Aging is throwing a Halloween party on Friday, October 31st as the crow flies and the clock chimes noon and a half. There will be an ice cream bar loaded up with all kinds of fixins to make your own yummy sundae. Put on your best Halloween disguise for the costume contest. Prizes will be awarded to the best. Sign-ups are now open for this freakishly free event.
Next up, we have poet Elizabeth Birch.
Next up is Elizabeth Birch.
Hi. I have one poem for you tonight, but it's in 4 parts, so bear with me. This microphone. It's called Wrapped, as in like to be fascinated or carried away, but also the root of raptor. Wrapped. 1. We walk with the dog down to the water to marvel the osprey. Without saying a word, I tell you how she loves her young, assembles what her partner collects, and sits, patient as the ocean, eyes seemingly always open. When we get close, she doesn't hesitate to lift from the nest and circle our path. Stay away, she threatens, bombastic. And though the sandy shore invites us further, I listen, knowing what it feels like to have fear slide up my spine and sprout wings. You're too young to understand. Bundled in the sticky haven I've been assembling for years, you can't yet see beyond the rim of our nest. Witness how wide and blue this world. 2. I didn't mean to scare my sister when I asked if she vaccinated her son before flying. I knew he was technically too young, but heard some mothers got the shot early, afraid of all those near dying from disease. When she said she should have, even though the doctor told her to wait, her eyes cutting up to meet mine, realizing it's too late, I sense her fingers curl into claws, her skin seeming to grow feathers. To me, she knows the way like an osprey who has returned many times to the same nest, stick walls built stronger with each season, each new brood of chicks. But now we both have beaks, and I should have known what not to say. You are only my first. Our nest is so small, susceptible to loose words and wind, sickness that hangs in the air we breathe. 3. I circle you like an osprey, scanning our surroundings, what's approaching, eyes everywhere on everything except you, the one thing my body knows without looking. My mother's generation never needed the measles vaccination. By the time it arrived, they had toughened like bare feet on the beach, the virus a threat they understood as part of living. Too young for any shot, your skin seems too soft for the salt of this world, and I'm here, hiding you, as if you are as fragile as an egg, because maybe you are. My father doesn't understand. His wordless, wrinkled eyes tell me life can't be lived from within a nest. Maybe this too is true. And yet, I keep circling, calculating the consequences. What can be forgiven? 4. In deep summer, the osprey chicks begin to flap their wings, lift clumsy bodies and hover above their home, practicing to leave. I wonder if in this moment, the one that hangs in like a dagger in the day, their mother stops scanning the shore, pauses on a distant branch, and watches her children rise above the six. Thank you.
She has performed for presidents and prime ministers across the U.S. and world, and now award-winning harpist, singer, arranger, and composer Anya Minogue will be performing here in Plymouth at the Plymouth Public Library on the evening of Tuesday, October 28th. This dynamic performer from Borrisokane County, Tipperary, Ireland, has been nominated for multiple awards for her work as a producer, her music spanning the realms of Celtic, world, folk, spiritual, and ambient genres. She will be playing in the Phalo Meeting Room starting at 7 p.m. The show is good for all ages. Register through the library's website.
And now, let's turn a light on local. Part of our mission as a media center is to welcome members of the community into our studios to record their own show or podcast about subjects that matter to them. The resulting content reflects the diversity of thought and opinion in our neighbors and neighborhoods, but not necessarily the views of the local scene staff, board, or director. We are a platform for free speech. Produced right here in Studio B, enjoy this clip from Business Bests with Mike Burns.
Hey, this is Mike Burns with another episode of Business Bests. Hopefully this advice has been helping your business. I really appreciate you investing time to listen to me. Hopefully it's insightful. I've talked about business planning. Consultants love planning, so that's a big part of what we do. And part of that is, I had said earlier, I love the quote, begin with the end in mind. And so part of that is related to succession planning and knowing what your exit strategy is. Really got to do a deep dive and look at what motivates you earlier on when you start a business. Do you just love what you do? Are you doing it to make money? Are you doing it for your family? Obviously making money to support your family. Or are you trying to do it to maybe bring your family into the business at some point, and then they have a way to have income and revenue throughout their lifetime? There's a lot of family dynamics in certain businesses. What does that look like? Are you doing this to leave a legacy? Do you want to create something that will live beyond you? Or are you just trying to get the biggest paycheck you can? Do you do this just to help your clients? Are you just going to always help them until the very last breath you have? Or are you going to try to go live on the beach or travel the world or become a volunteer executive at a nonprofit or whatever it might be? There's all different types of things that can factor into your exit strategy. One thing I will say is, if you're younger and you're looking 30 years out, it can change. There's a lot we don't know, and the industries will change, and people will change, and the business will change. So it doesn't have to be permanent, but I would say you have to kind of have that vision of what you're trying to attain. If you don't, you're just going to stumble across, right? Like a ship in the wind, like a sailboat, just kind of being blown around, whatever wind comes up or whatever storm pushes you in a certain direction. I had used previously the analogy of when you have a business, it's like having the end in mind is like when they laid the railroads. They didn't just kind of put the tracks down and then hope they got somewhere. Like they really had a vision of where they wanted to go, and then they had the railroad tracks get them there. So I would actually really invest time, if you haven't done so already, to figure out what that looks like and where you're going to go.
If you like what you saw, find more of Business Best with Mike Burns on Xfinity Channel 6 or Verizon 43. Or visit our Community Producers YouTube channel at Community on the Local Scene. And that, my friends, wraps this episode of The Local Scene this week. Thank you for watching.
If you live or work in Plymouth, Pembroke, Kingston, or Duxbury and would like to have your own show or podcast, you should. Email community@thelocalscene.media to find out about our free production services and training for community members.
And if you have a story or event you'd like people to know about, email us at story@thelocalscene.media.
We thank our patrons Tiny & Sons, Quintal Brothers, and Squinny's Pizza for supporting our mission of community in action through media.
The Local Scene this week will be back next week with more of what's good and good to know in our area. Until then, we'll see you on The Local Scene. Hello, friend. If you enjoyed this video, please think about scanning the QR code and making a contribution to The Local Scene. Every dollar is appreciated, and your support helps keep community media alive and our resources free to the community. We'll see you on The Local Scene.